really mean?
We're an insurance and financial services company in South Springfield, and 20 years is our anniversary next year. The company has evolved into what it is today, which was a vision of having a one-stop shop.
You hire the best of the best.
Yes, we do. Everybody here to me is family.
Our guiding principles are:
be kind,
speak honestly,
make it simple,
act fairly,
Put people over profits. Simple solutions.
I got a prettier one coming. Hey, Bruce Porter.
Hey, what you doing?
Just, I'm back from Dubai. You're back from Hawaii. And it's cold here. We've been to some warm locales.
I may want to go back.
Yeah, you came back right for the cold snap here.
You know, when you spend a week barefooted with just shorts on,
Yeah.
it's hard to come back and get fully dressed.
Well, at least it feels like Christmas now, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's gorgeous over there, but there's Christmas trees up. There's Santa sitting on the beach and little hammocks and stuff.
That's funny.
And it's like, I just can't get in the spirit.
Yeah, I
know?
know. It needs to feel like Christmas.
Oh, I know.
And it does. It's starting to. I think Jack was saying it's finally starting to feel a little bit like Christmas.
Yeah, we need cold air and snow.
Yeah, we sure do.
Just a little quick snow, then gone tomorrow, and then
Just 2 to 3 inches on the 23rd. That lasts about 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days. Good enough.
Light flurries the whole time, so that you've got a little falling snow going.
Yeah, then back to the 70s
and
by
then-
New Year's.
That would work for me.
Yeah, that'd work.
Yep, I would enjoy that. But
Of course, if it did that, everybody'd live here.
yeah, and we like to keep this place a little bit secret. We don't really want a bunch of people moving here.
That's right.
We got the way we like it just right now. Hey, if you're watching today and you've got a financial question you'd like to submit, we'd love to hear from you. So you can drop it in the comments, or you can email us info@krogtv.com. We'd be happy to take care of that. Feels like forever since we've done a little workshop.
Yeah, I know. Coming up in January.
When are we going to do our first one?
I don't even know the dates yet.
No, either. But
I'll
we'll
have
get
to
that
get
out
with
there.
them. But I think we have 2 scheduled in January. So, yeah, definitely get on for that. Those fill up, and then we're going to kick off next year, and we're gonna repeat the whole gig.
Yep.
So,
Well, I don't really believe in retirement. I don't find retirement in the Bible, but I do think we have a goal to work during our productive years and then reach a point where we can be financially independent so that we can then serve our family, serve our community, serve our God, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And you are the master at helping people do that. So
Yeah.
I want some wisdom today, Bruce. What do you got for us?
well, we have thousands of retirees. And the one thing that is important when I'm, interviewing people, trying to figure out what are their goals, their objectives, their priorities, it's establishing what concerns them, what's their fears, what's the thing that's keeping them up at night, because retirement is a daunting task, because it is voluntary unemployment. So you're basically saying, I hope I've saved enough, because money, you go out and play, but don't get hurt, because you got to take care of me the rest of my life. And when you're, let's think about the 60, 65 window. Very likely you're going to spend a third of your life in retirement if you're retiring at 60 or 65, because mortality continues to increase. So,
in a good way.
yeah, I mean,
We're living longer.
Pharmaceutical improvements, medical technology improvements, nutrition, take your pick. People are living longer. It's putting pressure on pensions. That's why pensions are no more. Companies cannot afford the liability of somebody living more than 5 or 10 years. That's back when pensions were enacted and kind of adopted as the standard for retirement planning through your employer. People expected to be, 65, 70, and then they're out.
Yeah.
And now people are living into their mid-80s, early 90s, and pensions are imploding. So, they transitioned and they came up with this thing called a 401k, and that puts all the liability for saving for retirement over onto the employee, not the employer with the pension. And so, it put all the burden back on the employee to do their own due diligence and save. And I'll give you a 3% match. Okay, whoopee. That's nice.
Sure.
That's free money. So if you're putting in 3, you're getting 100% match. That's great. But it's not going to retire you. You're going to have to substantially put money away sooner than later. So young people, listen up. It's biblical.
Mm-hmm.
Give the Lord 10%, give yourself 10%, and spend 80, and you'll be wealthy the rest of your life. If you'll just do that from the very first day you start drawing a paycheck till the day you get to our age, you're wealthy and you're retired, and you're comfortable. But I want to talk a little bit today about fear. There's a lot of retirement unknowns, and whether retirees admit it or not, everyone that is facing retirement has some kind of fear in the back of their mind that's keeping them up at night. And I think, and we may not get to all the things that we want to discuss today, but the number one thing that people are talking about is investment risk. What are the markets doing? When you think about it, the markets are at an all-time high in our lifetime, and the world is in complete chaos.
That's right.
Now, explain that to me, and I've been doing this for 35 years.
I don't know.
Well,
I certainly don't know.
When you think about it, when the trend nowadays is when the economy is in the tank, in the toilet, what does the federal government do? They lower interest rates. So when they lower interest rates, what does that do? That stimulates the economic growth. That stimulates market involvement. People are investing. People are buying. People are going out buying a washer and dryer at Best Buy at 0% financing or wherever. They're buying new cars. They're spending money. Now, let's top that off and let's pay you to not go back to work.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Sounds great.
Give you some stimulus, right? So now they're pumping money into the economy, and they have been for a while. I think they're going to taper that off, but they've been doing that. So now you got people that are at home getting free money in a zero interest rate environment.
Shopping on Amazon.
How many people are saving that money?
No, they're shopping on Amazon.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so Amazon, Bezos, he's making billions, and
He's making go to space money. That's what that guy's doing.
boy, isn't he though?
Yeah, sure is.
And so, it's got to come to a screeching stop at some point in the future. Market return is important. Markets pretty much dictate everything. I mean, when you think about the financial world, everything is dictated performance-wise, rate-wise, everything is dictated by market performance. And so I think it's important to, allocate money correctly. Asset allocation is important. I think sequence of returns are important. I think understanding what that is important. Those types of things are what are keeping people up at night. They're watching their stock market portfolio go skyrocket, and they don't know when to get out.
Yeah.
And their fear works both ways.
Sure.
Fear of loss, but also fear of missing out.
Right on.
And so when do I get out? When do I get in? And, I tell people, if you've got money at risk that you absolutely cannot afford to lose, there's one
Get
spot.
it out.
There's one spot, because you can't, hurt yourself getting out. If you're 75 years old and the market's as high as it's been in 75 years, you are not making a mistake by securing your gains and getting them in a position to where they can provide you income the rest of your life. Because at the end of the day, balance doesn't matter. It's all about sustainable income, the preservation of balance that is available to create a sustainable flow of income. Because what's happening in the future is everything's getting more expensive. Inflation, the cost of living, inflation, argue any direction you want. Under the last administration, inflation was less than 2%. And now you can't even get a straight answer about what inflation
Well, it changes every day. It
Yeah.
just keeps going up and up.
So right now, I mean, I've read reports 6.5, 6.4. I don't believe anything the media puts out. So if it's
I think it's like 20%.
If it's like 6.5% to them, it's got to be 12 or 13%.
I think that's right.
And because they're not going to report accuracy. I mean, look at the new trial going on with the sex.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got all these, movie stars and politicians, and take your pick. Pick your favorite politician. They were probably on that jet and on that island at some point in time. The perverseness of our government. I mean, it's astronomically out of control, and we will never know the truth. So what makes you think they're going to tell us the truth about numbers that are affecting our daily lives and things like that? The things I do know, healthcare increase is huge. Long-term care, cost of that is astronomically high and going up. Cost of living just when you're retired, just groceries and taxes and insurances, the basic necessities of life, everything seems to be increasing. So, I think you have to be very careful when you're evaluating when I'm going to retire, how am I going to retire, and can I afford to retire? All of that comes down to your little bucket of cash.
Well, and for me, I need an expert to help me do that. And that's why I'm friends with you, Bruce, because you give us good advice and let us know.
I have a tendency to overanalyze.
That's okay. I'm happy to let you do that so I don't have to.
Well, I mean, and so I fall back on, and it's why I'm so conservative when we get to the end game. If you're looking for an investment planning guy, and honestly, you're 25, 30, 40 years old, I think John Pope's your guy, right?
Yeah, great K-ROG contributor.
Because I tell you what, John Pope, he knows the markets. He knows what he's doing. And I think you got to pay attention to people like that are actively in the markets, that analyze that know how to help you build a portfolio. We just don't see eye to eye when you're 70, 75 years old. And that's okay, because he's good at what he does. I'm good at what I do. But there's a good mix of what you can do. And I've got lots of retirees that have got money in the market. But I just tell them, hey, just be careful. Don't put anything there you're not willing to lose.
If somebody wants to come in and sit down with you for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and talk about what's going on, how much does that cost?
I don't charge fees. I haven't done that. I left a larger company I worked for 22 years ago that I was a fee-based planner there, and I had to charge a fee for every minute, kind of like an attorney, I know. Not this one.
Depends on what you want from me.
Yeah. And so, I enjoyed that because I don't like people to think that they're paying me a fee to tell them what they want to hear.
Sure.
So I choose not to do that, not to charge fees. And I'm blessed. I try to pay it forward. There's no secrets here. We're just regular guys. And I just love to sit down and get to know people. And I like them to feel comfortable telling me, what's your fear? What are you worried about? And let's see what tools are out there available to help you, eliminate that fear, give you peace of mind, and sail off into the sunset with a good, sustainable source of income.
So if somebody wants to sit down with you, what do they need to do? They need to call?
Call 882-1800. That's Resource Center. If you really want to kind of get acquainted with both of us, come to the workshops.
Yeah, come to our workshop.
We're planning, 2 a month next year?
At least, yeah. Because we
and
finished up this year doing 4 a month because they were in such demand.
Yeah, and that's, as we have those spring and fall surges, we'll do 1 a week as necessary, but, 2 a month's what we're planning.
And your website is resourcecenterinc.com, and I think you can get information on the workshops and maybe even sign up online.
Yeah,
I'm not
you
sure
can.
What's there, but if you want to know more about that, go to that website, resourcecenterinc.com, or call Bruce's office, 417-882-1800.
Or we can meet at Storytime and have some coffee.
Have a little coffee.
Yep.
All right, thanks for coming in, Bruce. We'll get to some more of these notes you've got here for us next week. No, is that next week?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Next,
that would be the 27th, I think. Yeah. That'd be right.
That's right.
After
Monday,
Christmas. Merry
right?
Christmas.
Yeah, see, we're still in vacation.
I know.
I don't know. What day is it?
It's Monday.
Okay.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you next week, Rogersville.
You bet.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.